Hello everyone, welcome back to the Plunder Den. In today's episode, we are going to start the Galleon build. So the Galleon is the largest ship that Firelock Games produces. So kind of the last ship we did was the Bark, which is the smallest ship that, one of the smallest ships, they have smaller ones, but one of the smallest ships that they produce. So we're kind of doing a giant leap. But if you remember in the last episode, we kind of did a poll there and to see what people would like me to build. And from all the different social media sites that I put it on, it seemed like the majority of the people wanted me to do the Galleon. So just a refresher of kind of what we were discussing there. This Galleon is actually my son's Galleon. And it's one of the first ships, if you can believe it. We went right to the Galleon. Probably should have started with some smaller ships first, but and my son did a great job painting the base of the Galleon. But I really made a mess of the sails, and I didn't actually finish the cannons and a lot of the components of the gallery, like the balcony on the back, and there was lots of things that needed to be completed on this build. So I figured I would throw it out there as something that I want to get around to complete. And it seemed like a lot of people were interested in seeing how this played out. So they wanted to see it. I think they're more interested in the sales component of it. But I have done videos on the sales before on the Bark. There is a sales component to that video, the second part of it. But these are going to be a little more decorative sails, so people want to see how I make decorative sails. The Spanish have a lot of interesting designs that they put it on their sails, so this is going to be really cool to really trick this boat out. So just to show you, this is kind of the remnants of the dismantling of the top of the Galleon. But I think this is going to be interesting. Maybe use these in another terrain piece or something. In the future. So I definitely want to maybe harvest a few of those fighting tops on there and use them on some of my other ship builds. But nothing will go to waste. We'll use that for something else in the future. But as I mentioned before, I got a new set of components from Firelock. Firelock Games, they sell this separate now. So you can buy this just the gallery components, for the Galleon, and finish redo the sails. So that's the plan here, to redo it. So it's going to take quite a few parts to do this video because there's a lot of components to this Galleon, and it's quite a large ship. So in this first set of videos, we address the base. So we finished the balcony. We added, I do show you the techniques of how to make these windows look like there's light in them. And just kind of the overall painting of the cannons and stuff. The whole ship was already painted. My son did it already. But all these cannons, I didn't install all these, and you can see we painted the gun ports on that, and all the swivel guns are done. We made an anchor. So we kind of really well address the entire bottom of the ship in this first set of videos. I am planning on doing a video dedicated to just the mast and all that rigging and all that stuff. It's going to be in a separate video. And then we're going to do a video just dedicated to sails. I think I've had some suggestions that maybe I should do that as a separate video. Mainly because some people just want to know the sails component of it and don't want to watch the entire video or fast forward through it. And so I'm going to do that in its own separate video. So I'll post it just how to make sails. And these are going to be the most elaborate set because there's quite a few sails on the Galleon. Lots of opportunity to do all sorts of decorative sails on this. So let's go down to the table here. Actually, I'm just going to show a few photos first of how I started and what the ship kind of looked like before I started doing some demoing. Because the video kind of just takes right into me demoing things, and I just kind of wanted to show what it looked like prior to me doing that. The starting point, essentially, right? So let's go down and check that out. Okay, so I thought I had actually just pictures of the galleon before I started, but actually I did do a little intro video here. So this will work out a little bit better, so I can explain things a little bit better. So this is the gallery balcony I was talking about. I hadn't glued it on, and it's only partially painted. You can see the gun ports. I have no cannons in them. The doors are not installed. And as you can see, I put the craft paint on there. I didn't mention that to my son when he painted it, and now I'm going to have to carve those out. This is the kit that I got from Firelock Games to redo the top of the galleon. Just kind of showing you that I'm going to have to snip all this off and cut all these out. I'm going to remove all the masts and all the rigging. Everything on the top is going to get pulled off. Okay, so you can see in that those photos that we were kind of, you can see there's cannons left to do. The balcony wasn't even glued on. It needed to be painted. So there was a lot of, actually a lot more work on the bottom than I thought there was. So we kind of left that galleon unfinished, and it's time to get this galleon to its full potential and glory. So certainly, I think when we're done all this, what would be really awesome is have a duel between the galleon and the 6th-rate frigate. I got the 6th-rate frigate up here. I always wanted to do a match between the two. And the galleon's going to be similar to this. It's going to have the actual sail setup is virtually the same. But I think it's going to be the ultimate battle report. So we're going to do one between the galleon and the 6th-rate. So that should be a lot of fun. All right, so then we'll make that into its own video as well. So there'll be kind of like a whole 4-part series to this galleon build. And then don't worry about, I know that some other people voted on some of the other jobs that I said, or projects that I wanted to work on. I plan on doing all of them, so we'll go back to looking at those as well. All right, so similar to the bark, I just kind of wanted to show you basically what you get when you get the galleon. The galleon is a large resin ship. It's very heavy, but it's really sturdy, and it'll survive the test of time. And it has you get your rigging, and all this comes in here. I know I bought this separately, but when you originally buy the galleon, all the stuff comes with the galleon. I just messed it up. And then, of course, their card. Now, I think for that match that I'm going to do with the 6th-rate frigate, I think I'm going to I'm going to go to Staples, I think, and get these blown up. Because if you can look at all the bubbles on there, holy moly. There'll be a lot of bubbles to work on in there, and I think I want some bigger cards. I see some of the other players get those cards blown up, and I think I'm going to do the same thing for the galleon and the 6th-rate frigate. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's get down to the table, but I just wanted to remind you before we get down to the table that. If you like what we're doing in the Plunder Den, make sure you smash that like button, and consider subscribing to the Plunder Den, and get the first-hand information of when I have new videos or new projects that I put online on YouTube. So, all right, so let's go down to the table and check out what I'm working on. Okay, so we're gonna start with demoing this ship. So I'm gonna be cutting all this rigging off. I know it's it's kind of a little painful because there's a little sentimental value because it was one of the first ships that we put together, me and my son, and but I think overall I think I kind of let them down with this rigging and mast, and I've learned so much more in the past year and a half on how to do these properly. That I think this ship warrants a proper set on the top and really fantastic sails. And so that's why we're doing this project in the first place. We're going to really make this boat stand out and be a showstopper. But we have to, we're going to have to do a little demo work here and remove all this rigging. Just removing the swivel guns. We did paint the swivel guns. But I think we're going to maybe add some washes to them. They're early stages. We just used craft paint for a lot of them. But the folk art craft metallic paints aren't actually bad. They're pretty good. You can see the lion head on the front of the galleon is actually done with the gold folk art gold paint. And it's actually a really nice metallic color. So they have some pretty good metallics in those craft paints. If you're wondering how I put this together, as I mentioned in previous videos, my old handy tool, the glue gun. Sadly that I slapped the glue all over this beautiful galleon. But we're gonna straighten that out and go back with using some super glue and make it a lot better. Okay, so there's the remnants of the demolition, the demo work. Just showing you the quick galleon instructions there. So the first kind of steps is to pull off these little bits where the rigging goes into. Now I had to rip those off the old ship here, and because I hot glued them, I had to pull that old glue out as well. That's just what I'm kind of pointing out there. I had to rip all that out. There's the old pieces there. I'm thinking I can still strip everything off there and still use those for something else. So nothing's going to go to waste here. I'll be able to recycle most of these pieces. But for this galleon, I wanted to start over and have fresh pieces for everything. So this is just showing you that I'm going to use Gorilla Glue, so no hot glue. This is going to be Gorilla Glue, clear Gorilla Glue to glue all this together. And again, the mass I'm going to do in a separate video, and the fighting tops and all that stuff will be in a separate video. We're just going to focus on the cannons and stuff. Just showing you the X-Acto knife. That's pretty much how I gouged everything out. I'm going to have to go hit those gun ports too as well and dig them out as well. So there's lots of work to be done in there and fixing that. Okay, so I started by actually digging those holes out and then using this clear glue and gluing all the cannons in. It's been actually quite some time since I built this galleon, and I had to go really scrounge around to find all my cannon parts for this galleon, but we were able to find what we needed. And unfortunately, some pieces I have had to order, but we had enough to do the galleon. Just showing you all the ones we had to glue on. And then we're moving on to the gun ports. Now, I've shown this in the previous videos how I do it, but this method really becomes useful when you're doing a lot of guns, like, for example, for the galleon. The galleon has the most amount of guns and gun ports. So this, using insulation dollar store foam board here and cutting a slit into it, and just sticking the cannon door in there, and you just rest it on the side. I have the whole ship sitting on insulation foam strips that I'm pointing out right there. So when I finish gluing the one side, I'm going to flip it upside down and put those in between so we can finish our reverse side. Alright, moving on to the painting of the gallery while those guns are drying. I'm going to move on to a little painting. So I'm going to use that flat brush that I always talk about, that square flat brush that I use for most of my ship painting. And this is Dragon Red by our Army Painter. It's a dark red I like to use as an undercoat. And I figured I'd do a little decorative on the back here, do maybe a red and white kind of combination on the back here. So I'm just gonna paint a couple of these just on the video, just so you guys get an idea. But I really like this this dragon red. It's a really it's similar to the cardinal red for folk art paints, but we're gonna add some highlights to it. So I like to start with the dark colors first. So we're gonna do a dark red, and we're gonna do kind of like a darker off-white as the next color, and then we're gonna highlight it with bright white and a brighter red. So just going back to that flat brush, I'm gonna be using that for a lot of the ship painting here. It's just kind of a rectangle end on it, really. It's flat on and it's square on the end. It's really helpful for a lot of things that you paint on a ship. It's a really good brush. Okay, so this is that white I was talking about. It's Corax White it's a Citadel paint. And I really like this color, not just for what we're doing here, but when you're painting your minis and you're doing white shirts on pirates, a lot of white shirts out there, it actually is a good undertone. So it's like an off-white. But you can highlight it with plain white. It really works good for the pirate shirts, and it's going to work good for what we're doing here too. I want to have a darker white and then come back with regular white. I know on the camera here it doesn't look any different, but I assure you at close up it is quite different. It's almost kind of like a really, really light gray. But actually it'll work great when you put that white on top of it. We're going to do similar to the bark. We're going to do a little highlighting in these colors. So I always like to put the dark color in first and then put the light versions of it on afterwards and give it a highlight. Just want to make a note that I did the inside and as well as the outside. I'm going to do both. Alright, so we're going to be moving on here. Just showing you, I just did one to show you an example. Alright, so this is the pure red, and this is the other one I was talking about. It's a really, really bright red. And I use this a lot on highlighting red coats or whatever on my minis too as well. But definitely going to use it to highlight this red on here. So I'll just put it on. You'll see in a minute how much brighter it is. And same as similar as the bark. Just kind of work your way from the middle and work your way out. And kind of a little bit darker on the edges, but it'll be brighter in the center. So the same technique that I used in my previous ships, same thing I'm gonna do in here. That's how I like to highlight things. So I'll probably just do it here, just a few of them for you guys, just to show you what I mean. I'm actually not using a square brush here. This one's kind of a little more of a round brush. I can't fit my my dry brushes in there. It's too small, so I have to use this little smaller round brush. But it worked out okay for this. Now, just showing you that I've completed all of them with the highlights in it and what it looks like. You just see it's got a bit of a brightness to the bottom. So we're just going to go to some matte white. And so remember I put that other darker white down, so this will be highlighted with just plain old regular white. And again, we're just going to hit a few areas similar to the red, using that same little round brush. So we're going to kind of jump here to just showing you how I glue the gun ports and guns for the back and the front of the ship. I usually just stand the whole boat up in a box and dry it in similar ways to the other the sides. So I'm just showing you all the guns completed. I don't know if you guys noticed on the video here, but when I flip it around to the one side there, I did actually, when I have it, the boat tipped upside down, I actually broke one of the guns. You can see there's one broken there. But don't worry, I fixed it. I put it back together, but you got to be careful when you tip it upside down. Usually I sit it in a towel and just stand it straight up so I can do the chaser guns and the guns at the front of the boat. So I'm just showing you, I decided to go with an anchor and a lamp. So I only have one lamp. I ordered some more from Firelock, so I should be getting some more in. And I'll put a second one in the back. Just showing you I use that Full Cart Multi-Safe Surface Black craft paint. That's my favorite undercoat for most of this stuff. Normally I would have put all this on first and then painted the whole boat all at once, so black. But I'm kind of doing these guns afterwards. So I'm going to have to go back and paint them all with this black craft paint. So everything that I've glued on here, I plan on adding a black craft paint to all of it, including the anchor and the lamp. Alright, so I'm just going to show you some of the colors I use to paint. You can see the cannon port doors already been painted. I went to use those two reds and the same whites that I used for the gallery, the balcony, so everything matches. So I'm just showing you I used the dragon red. These are all Army Painter paints, except for the off-white, the Corax, that's Citadel. And then we got a Pier red. And the matte white. Just went over the colors again, just so you know what I used to carry some consistency. So the gun ports all match the balcony on the back. All right, so now I'm pointing at the windows because I'm going to show you what I do to paint those. This is kind of I add light to the windows. My son wanted me to add some light to these windows. So I like to use this moon dust. It's really bright yellow, and then this dramatic yellow, and then this lava orange. So these are the three colors I use from Army Painter paints that I use to make the light in my windows. And I'm not really worried about the frame. I am just going to go right to the very light yellow and start right there on the bottom. I'm going to repaint the frame afterwards. So I'm just going to slap it right in there. And what I like to do is just fill in those voids and just slap the paint on. I'm just going to put 3 different stripes of those colors in there. And go to the second, the yellow there, the darker yellow. I think it's the dramatic. And then we're going to that lava orange. So the very top of the window is going to be the bright lava orange, but then I kind of I'll pull the colors into each other. And I'll go back to the palette and pull some of it in there. But really what I'm just trying to do is blend these 3 colors in so it seems like one consistent glow. So you lay down the 3 colors and then you just start blending them into each other. So you're just really brushing them down into each other. If it's too orange, add some more yellow to the top. So yeah, I just added some more yellow in there. So you're going to get kind of a really yellowy orange kind of in the center of it. And it really will start looking like a glow of a light or candlelit room. I do all my windows in the same manner on all my boats. But when we started this galleon, I wasn't even thinking windows. um, and my son painted this, so we didn't. I wasn't even thinking about that. So, but later on, I started adding light to the windows. I just showed you I did the same technique for the lamp. And then some of the other windows, there's little ports inside the inside of the boat. Same spots. Just did the same technique. Just added those three colors and kind of blended them into each other. So I'm just showing you I did all the windows and kind of what it looks like. You can see they're just all blended into each other. And later on, we're going to put all the framing on those windows, and that'll finish them off. Okay, we're going to go to a little gunmetal. I'm going to use this to brush on a few things. We're going to go and I'm going to use this flat brush again, and we're going to dry brush all the cannons. So there's quite a few cannons on the galleon. There is a ton. There's the two chaser guns, the guns in the front, and you got a dozen on both sides. So yeah, you're talking 28 guns on this boat. So lots of cannons to dry brush in here. So I'm really just gonna tap all these with this gunmetal. Just make a note. I didn't add it into the video. I just saved some time on the video. But after these all dried with the gunmetal on it, I went with a soft tone wash, but I used similar to in the bark build, and I like to put that soft tone wash over top of the gunmetal. It really makes it look like aged metal. So I always hit it with that afterwards. So I kind of go through quite a few of these guns here just so you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I have to say that this is a little more challenging. Remember, the bark was nice and small. You could easily fit it in the camera view. But it's a little trickier with the galleon. It's quite a large ship, and it's heavy. So like you're trying to hold it with one hand, and it's a little tricky. All right, just showing you the anchor. This is kind of a repeat from the bark build. Same techniques, just using that gunmetal on the anchor. Dry brush it on over the black craft paint that's there already. And then, of course, we're going to cover it with that soft tone wash afterwards, and it'll give it a good aged metal look. Good for what we need here on this anchor. So I'm just going to quickly brush this up. And then we're probably gonna hit that lantern too. I like to do the top and bottom of the lantern. Yeah, I probably didn't need to show you the entire anchor. You guys have already seen me do this before, but anyways, this gunmetal by Army Painter really works well for this kind of for the anchors. And I think I forgot to mention the top. There's a little loop at the very top of the anchor. I hit that too with that same gunmetal. I think I probably just keep painting it because it's just a small piece and you might as well just finish it off. Alright, we're done with the anchor. Alright, and then I would mention the lantern. Really, it's just the top, dry brushing that top on there. So right now it's just black, but I'm just going to hit it with that gunmetal. And again, I'll use the soft tone wash on this as well. Again, just giving it an aged metal look. Yeah, unfortunately I only had one of these, but like I said, I mentioned earlier, I do have another one on order coming in to finish the back. So I know I posted that picture of it. If you're wondering why there's only one lantern there, well, I have to order a second lantern and get some more. I actually ordered quite a few more, so we have extras. For future ship builds, I like to add this lantern to most of my ships if possible. I was even contemplating adding it to the bark, but I just figured for time constraints on that video, I decided not to go with a lantern on that boat. But if I had a little more time, I probably would have added a lantern. And I could always go back later and add a lantern on it. But the bark's a smaller ship, probably doesn't need one. Alright, just showing you what the lantern looks like when I'm done. Alright, so we're going to go to the matte black. And what I'm going to do here is show you the method. So you got to get that flat brush I was talking about. This is like a super easy way of doing all these framings, and you can do it extremely fast. Take the brush and go flat the way I was showing you in the video. And you just pull it one way. Don't go back one way. Don't just go all in the same direction. And you pull it across. You'd be surprised. You won't get the brush. It won't go in the crevices. So all you're doing is hitting the frame. So I absolutely love this flat brush for doing these frames. You can get this ship done in, like, I'm only going to do one here on the camera here. But it literally took me 5 minutes to do this boat. When I first did these windows, it took me forever. I kept making mistakes, and I would use all these fine brushes, and it was absolutely ridiculous. But then I went to this flat brush and just pulled it across. Oh man, that's the way to do it, and you can get these done super fast. Just make sure you run that brush like almost completely flat. So you're just essentially, and make sure you go in the one direction. I just can't stress that enough. If you do that, the brush won't get into the crevices, and you'll just highlight the frame, which is what you want. So I'm just showing you. That took no time at all. Okay, we're done here. I just wanted to show you all the details. So there's the finished windows, the finished balcony. I didn't talk much about the shield, but I actually didn't talk about it at all. I just freehanded that Spanish symbol on there. There's all the guns. Just kind of giving you an overall view of all the different things that we've completed. So the base is completed now on this ship. And we're going to be moving in the next video on to the rigging and masts and stuff. So I hope you guys liked this video and enjoyed it. And I look forward to the next one with you guys. Where we finish the mast. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing to the Plunder Den. Alright, see you guys in the next video.